Hi all, and if my nose sounds a little blocked, well that's only because it is. I'm Mahin Kesore, and here are 5 games that came out on Steam last week. There are many ways to combat loneliness, but creating a buddy out of random bare bones and organs found around town isn't one that comes to mind. And that's what Birth is about. An adventure puzzle game about making a very unusual bestie. You'll roam a variety of locations, libraries, cafes, markets, solving various puzzles and interacting with a gaggle of local entities. All the better to secure another piece of your slowly growing friend. It's a fascinating premise backed up by an art style with a discomforting horror element. This weird mix is exemplified by the game's mysterious cast, who wouldn't look out of place in Pathologic 2, and yet they all look so nice. Here's a more conventional point-and-click adventure based on the H.P. Lovecraft story Dreams in the Witch House, which has also recently been adapted for TV. I haven't read the original story, but the premise is basically this. Protagonist Walter Gilman has just moved to Arkham and is boarding at a hostel. The game follows Gilman's actions in the lead up to May Eve, and you're basically free to do what you want with Gilman during that period. Study, read weird occult texts, or even just sleep. You'll probably spend most of the time exploring the game's open-world interpretation of Arkham, though with a steady eye on your health and sanity meters. Sanity is a hot commodity, by the way, because as days pass, things will get increasingly weird as they do in the Lovecraft universe. But hey, it's not a big deal. Sanity's easy to keep a hold of. I do it every day and I'm completely fine. From the creators of Prison Architect and Defcon comes the spaceship management game, which Studio Introversion Software describes as its most ambitious title ever. Set in a vast procedurally generated universe, it's your job to build, maintain, and conduct missions in your own spacefaring vessel. You'll start off humble, but it's possible to build a whole fleet of ships, all the better to gather resources, conduct trade, and of course, stick it to the space baddie. The Last Spaceship is in early access, and like earlier Introversion games, it will likely stay there for several years while the studio grows and iterates on it. Here's another early access game. If you've ever wanted a fighting game to inherit the pace of Dark Souls' weapon-based combat, Corpse Keeper is basically that, wrapped in a bleak fantasy roguelite package. Think Tekken meets a Plague Tale. The fighting is the highlight, with true-to-life swordplay sitting alongside unrealistic skills and the usual parrying and evasion. There are dozens of playable characters too, though you're not allowed to find your fave and rely on it forever, thanks to the fact that they're all corpses blighted by a tendency to decay. The early access period is indefinite, though it's a fairly substantial package already, with 6 stages, the aforementioned dozens of playable corpses, and lots of new stages and items promised in the future. Well, my plan was to end on a high, but instead, here's a narrative adventure game set in World War II Taiwan, right at the pointy end of its Japanese rule. Raid of Taihoku takes place during the American raid on that exact day, and the objective here is to survive in the ruins. What results is a story heavily steeped in history as amnesiac protagonist Sayoko roams the still under fire city in search of their lost memories. If this sounds all too bleak, don't worry, there's a dog! Or maybe worry, there's a dog. According to the developers, the aim of Raid on Taihoku is to help players experience the cruelty and toughness of war. And with that, that's this week's 5 Steam games. I've been Mahin Kesore, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe to PC Gamer's YouTube channel. Till next time, see ya.